And today we're doing a really fun recipe, which is a sourdough coffee cake, which is kind of our take on a traditional coffee cake, which is normally made with no coffee and sour cream.
Exactly.
So in our iteration, we are using coffee bean flour to add a coffee flavor to the cake, as well as we are adding, as from the name, sourdough starter. Yeah.
What makes this great is, it's coffee cake, and coffee cake doesn't traditionally have any coffee in it at all, but you eat it with coffee. And so we're going to make a coffee cake that you can have with coffee or without coffee and still get caffeinated.
There you go.
All right, so let's start. This is a pretty simple process. So we got brown sugar, we got flour, and we got cinnamon. And we're just going to break that up with the whisk. That's good enough right there. We're just going to put that aside over here. And then we're going to make our streusel.
Okay.
Again, easy, but this time we're going to use our food processor. We have our brown sugar, flour, all purpose. And we have our coffee flour, the secret ingredient today. Cinnamon, and most importantly, our butter. This butter has to be really cold.
Okay.
You don't want it to be too soft, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to form the crumbles of the streusel that's going to go on top of it. So we're not going to add it in yet, but we will start to pulse it. And as we pulse it, we'll add a couple of bits of the cold butter at a time.
Yep.
And you'll look and you'll start to see some crumbles starting to form. You don't want to go too much. Now, if you happen to buzz this a little bit too much, you can take the whole thing out. You can pack it together, put it in the fridge, and then break it up again afterwards.
Good tip, good tip.
What I'm looking for is, I'm not looking for it to be too soft, but you see there's these little pebbles in here, right? And you just kind of want to just like do that, and that's what you want. You want it to be able to hold itself up. If the butter was too soft, it would just kind of squeeze out, and you wouldn't be able to get these nice little balls. See,
all right.
So that's what you're looking for. You're looking to be able to hold it up just like that.
Okay.
Okay. So we're just gonna put that aside, and I'm gonna put this away, and then we're gonna start making our cake. So we have our brown sugar, and we have our granulated sugar, white sugar.
All right.
And then we have our butter, which is opposite of making the streusel. It's actually softened, because what we're looking for is to make a light, fluffy cake, and you really can't do that with super hard butter. All right, so we're just gonna add our softened butter, and we're gonna, with a paddle attachment, and we're gonna go at medium. I usually go about 4 to 5 minutes till that breaks up and it gets nice and fluffy. You'll be able to tell by the texture of as the sugar starts to break down into the butter, it'll get super light and fluffy. A good 4 or 5 minutes, we'll be ready to add the rest of our ingredients.
Okay.
And you also want to make sure that you have your pan pre-greased, which we already do. All right, while this is going, we got another couple of minutes. We're gonna put our dry ingredients together. We have our flour, we have our coffee flour, which is the special ingredient today, baking powder, and a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at about 3 to 4 minutes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop this now. We'll raise this. We're gonna add our egg. All right, I'm gonna slow down just a little bit, and I'm gonna add the sour cream.
Now, because we're substituting the sourdough starter for part of the sour cream, has that also been 1-to-1?
That is exactly it.
Okay.
I've done it 1-to-1, and I haven't had any problems doing it that way. The idea behind using the sourdough is that sourdough has a distinct flavor to it. And we, since we're making a coffee cake, we wanted to add our own distinct Modernist pantry flavor to it. And that was the basis of adding the sourdough starter. You kind of want to be a little bit careful, because we're making a cake and we're not making bread. And so we're using the sourdough starter that has a fair amount of gluten in it. And so when we're gonna add this into it, we're gonna add it in, and then we're gonna beat it really slow, because you don't want to work this too much. Because if you work this too much, you know what you're doing. You're working the gluten out, and it's gonna make it taste a little bit more bready than the actual cake, which I found a few times when doing this recipe. So we're gonna add the sourdough starter in now, but I'm not gonna add it while it's spinning.
Yeah. What did it taste like when it started getting bready?
It tasted like bread. It tasted like a coffee bread, rather, which wasn't terrible, to be honest with you. But you lost a lot of that texture from a coffee cake, which is supple. You got that great like molassesy flavor, and it breaks up as you eat it. bread, it tastes like bread. It's just,
Okay.
you know,
Makes sense.
it tastes like bread. All right, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
You just want to combine it. That's it.
Wow.
Because if you go slow, what happens is if you go slow, it doesn't incorporate as quick, and so but you're spinning it.
Oh.
So you do it.
So you literally just blitz it.
It's really
Okay.
quick, especially if you're making kind of like a fluffy chiffon cake or a sponge cake. You'll slowly add maybe a third of the flour
Yep.
in as you. Not in this case. This
Okay.
case, we're going to add all the dry in, and we're going to give it a quick turn. And then take it off, take it out.
So that's like barely incorporated.
Yeah, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish it.
Yep, just fold in the
Just
rest
fold
of the
exactly,
dry. All right.
exactly, because you're not trying to work this thing too much. Now I got that turned and incorporated. We're going to go right into our prepared silicone. So we're going to go with half the mixture. We're going to try to even it out as much as we can. We're going to add our filling. This is our filling. And then we're going to add the rest of our batter on top of this.
Okay.
Now we're going to add our streusel. And the streusel, another bit of this is you want to add the streusel in as even as possible. It's very important, and we do this because when we're baking the cake, if the streusel's not even, it won't rise even. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It'll be lopsided. So
That makes sense.
So it's very important to get that streusel in, start in the corners, and you work your way to the center. So you want to bake this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 50 to 55 minutes.
Now let's talk about this cake because so when it was in the
beautiful.
mold, it was kind of flat, but now
Yep.
it's like
We see-
risen
you
beautifully.
see that? Yeah.
Yes.
Boom. And that's the leavening of the baking powder and the sourdough started together, kind of like cohesify, which is not a word, to make that rise up the way it has. That's definitely not a word, though.
All right. I think we should just dig into it.
Let's
What do you
do it.
think?
Let's
All
do it.
right. Ooh, look how it's like falling. No, no.
Oh, look at that. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, look at the center. You see that the filling right there?
I can already tell it's super light,
Yep.
fluffy.
Fluffy.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Strong coffee flavor.
Yep.
If
Very-
you like coffee, you're gonna love it.
Very soft.
Oh my god. So soft, like pillowy.
Yep.
The
Glassy.
topping is perfect. It's like perfectly crumbly. It's not like so
not-
hard that
yeah.
you're munching on it.
It gives it the nice texture. You know, cake is soft. Topping is crumbly, kind of breaks apart a little bit. It's definitely the perfect complement to such a
yes.
nice soft cake.